Okay, so get ready to go back in time with us, because today we're taking a deep dive into the origins of something that's basically become like, well, oxygen in the digital age, the World Wide Web.
It really is amazing to think about how different things were before the web.
Right. Like, we've been digging into some incredible stuff about Tim Berners-Lee, the web's creator.
A true visionary.
Totally. And trying to imagine a world before all of this, honestly, it's kind of mind-blowing.
It really makes you appreciate how groundbreaking his ideas were.
For sure. So, to set the scene for our listeners, can you take us back to that pre-web era? What was the tech landscape even like?
Okay, so picture this. It's the late 80s, early 90s. Forget smartphones, forget Wi-Fi, even personal computers were still pretty niche.
Yeah, I rember those clunky beige monitors.
Exactly. Now imagine trying to find information in this world. No Google, no Wikipedia. You wanted to research something. You were hitting the library, navigating those endless shelves of card catalogs.
Sounds brutal.
It was a different world. And the internet, as we know it, that seamless flow of information that didn't really exist.
So what was there?
You had these closed networks, mainly used by universities and government agencies. And each network was like its own little island, speaking a different language, sharing information between them. Practically impossible.
So no effortlessly clicking from site to site back then?
Not even close. It was like navigating a maze blindfolded. And that's where Tim Berners-Lee steps in. His big idea was to create a system that could weave these isolated networks together, making information universally accessible.
So basically, he's the guy who took down the borders in the digital world.
Precisely. And his secret weapon, the game changer that made it all possible, the hyperlink.
Okay, so I know what a hyperlink is,
Yeah.
obviously, but what made it so revolutionary back then? It seems so basic now.
Think about it. Before hyperlinks, you were stuck in this linear world of information. You read one document, then the next, then the next. No way to jump directly to related content.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Berners-Lee's system broke down those walls. Suddenly, you could follow your curiosity wherever it led, hopping from one idea to the next, creating your own path through this web of knowledge.
Kind of like we're doing now, bouncing between these ideas.
Exactly. And something that often gets overlooked is that Berners-Lee was really passionate about making the web open and free to everyone. He wasn't interested in creating some exclusive club.
So that whole open source philosophy that people talk about now, that goes all the way back to him.
Absolutely. He believed that knowledge shouldn't be locked away. It should be accessible to all, which is incredibly forward-thinking, considering how much of the internet today is controlled by a handful of companies.
It's true. It makes you wonder how he would feel about the direction things have gone.
Definitely something to think about. But going back to those early days, did you know you can actually still visit the very first website Berners-Lee created?
Wait, seriously? That's like a blast from the past.
It really is. No fancy graphics, no videos, just pure, raw information presented in this super simple text-based format.
It's hard to imagine how basic it must look compared to websites today.
It's like stepping into a time capsule. But it's a powerful reminder of how far we've come and how much Berners-Lee's vision of open knowledge sharing has shaped the digital landscape.
It's mind-blowing to think that he built all of this from the ground up, and that it's now something billions of people use every single day.
It really makes you appreciate the power of a single groundbreaking idea.
It's funny looking back at those early websites now, like, talk about a blast from the past.
Oh, absolutely. Remember those super clunky layouts, blinking text, crazy background images?
Don't forget those tiled backgrounds.
Oh yeah, with the gif of the dancing baby, and everyone thought they were so cool.
Oh my gosh, GeoCities. I spent way too much time trying to make my page look awesome.
Right. It was the Wild West of web design back then. Everyone just experimenting, figuring it out as they went. Kind of miss that sometimes.
Yeah, there was a real DIY, anything goes kind of vibe.
Totally. The web was like this big blank canvas, and everyone could be an artist.
And it wasn't just about the design, right?
Right.
The sources talk about how the web totally revolutionized communication.
Oh, for sure. Suddenly you could chat with people across the world in real time.
Those early instant messaging platforms were wild.
ICQ, AOL, Instant Messenger, that was mind-blowing at the time.
It's crazy how quickly things changed from painstakingly writing emails to instant conversations.
It was a total paradigm shift. And it wasn't just personal communication either, right? Think about the impact on businesses.
Oh man, I can't imagine running a business without the internet now.
Right, but someone had to be that first online purchase.
That stinksy.
That was a game changer. The first domino to fall on what's become a massive e-commerce takeover.
It's funny, though, because I bet back then buying something online felt super sketchy.
Oh, totally. You're just like, trusting this website with your credit card information? Pretty wild.
But it wasn't just about buying stuff, right? Like, the way we consume news changed completely.
Absolutely. Suddenly, anyone could be a publisher.
Independent journalists, bloggers.
Experts in all sorts of niche fields, they could suddenly reach a global audience.
Which is awesome, but it also kind of opened the floodgates for misinformation. Right?
Yeah, that's the double-edged sword of the web. Makes you realize how important critical thinking is.
More than ever, especially now with so much information flying around.
You got to be savvy, question your sources, look at different perspectives.
And be wary of anything that seems a little too good to be true.
Exactly. And that goes not just for the information we're consuming, but how we think about the future of the web itself.
So where are we headed? What does this future web even look like? It's kind of like we've stumbled onto the set of a sci-fi movie, going from those, almost charmingly basic early websites to this future where the lines between the digital and physical are, like, totally blurred.
It really highlights how quickly things evolve in the digital world.
Totally. And some of the terms being thrown around Web3, the metaverse, I mean, it does feel pretty futuristic.
It can definitely sound like we're diving headfirst into a science fiction novel, but at its core, it's really about a fundamental shift in how we think about and engage with the internet, how we experience it.
Okay, so no more just scrolling through websites on our phones. Paint me a picture. What does this future web actually look like?
All right, so imagine, instead of that flat screen, you're wearing a VR headset. You're not just looking at a website, you're in it, like fully immersed in a 3D world.
Okay, that's pretty wild.
You could be at a virtual concert with friends from all over the world, exploring ancient ruins, like actually feeling like you're there, or even trying on clothes in a virtual fitting room. No more guessing how they'll actually fit.
So it's not just the internet in our pockets anymore. It's like all around us.
Exactly. And the implications go way beyond just entertainment, right? Think about fields like education, healthcare. Surgeons could practice complex surgeries in a risk-free virtual OR. Architects could collaborate on designs in a shared 3D space. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
It's incredible. But I have to admit, part of me wonders, like, what happens to the real world if we're spending all our time in these virtual spaces?
It's a really important question, and honestly, it's something we need to be mindful of as we venture further into this uncharted territory. The key, I think, is finding that balance, using these technologies as tools to enhance our lives, not letting them become our lives,
Right, like using tech intentionally, not just getting sucked into the metaverse.
Exactly. But you're right, it's not just about individual responsibility either. There are bigger systemic things to consider. Like, one of the core ideas behind Web3 is this concept of decentralization.
Yeah, I've heard that term thrown around a lot.
So right now, a lot of the internet is controlled by a handful of really powerful tech companies, right? Web3, with things like blockchain technology, it aims to shift that balance of power.
So less big tech, more individual control. How does that work?
It's still early days, and there's a lot of debate about the specifics, but imagine owning your own data, having a say in how platforms are run, a more distributed, community-driven internet.
It kind of sounds like going back to the original vision of the web, that open, equitable space we were talking about earlier.
There are definitely parallels, but like with any major tech shift, it comes with a whole new set of challenges. How do we ensure security, privacy, prevent the spread of misinformation in a decentralized system? These are all questions we're going to have to grapple with as we move forward.
It does feel like we're standing at the edge of something completely new, exciting, but also a little unknown.
That's what makes it so fascinating, though, right? The web has always been about pushing boundaries, challenging what's possible.
This deep dive has been amazing. We've covered so much ground, from those early basic websites to, like, full-on virtual worlds. It's incredible how far things have come.
It really is a testament to the impact the web has had and continues to have on our lives.
So as we navigate this new frontier, I think the most important thing we can do is stay curious. Keep asking those critical questions.
Absolutely. The future of the web isn't predetermined. It's something we're all shaping together.
And on that note of shared exploration, we'll leave you to ponder the possibilities of the World Wide Web. Until next time, keep those curiosity gears turning.